Ava Morgan always believed life felt loudest at sunrise. She used to stand on the small balcony of her Chicago apartment, facing the sprawling stretch of Lake Michigan as morning light sliced across the water like shards of gold. Every day she told herself that new possibilities were waiting just behind the horizon. But now today the sunrise felt heavy, noisy, confusing, like a reminder that she was about to face a truth that refused to stay buried. Ava was 34, a marketing manager at a mid-sized tech company downtown. She was practical, steady, the kind of woman whose coworkers leaned on during chaos. She had a warm smile, soft brown eyes, and a way of listening that made people feel understood. She wasn't dramatic by nature, nor someone who liked confrontation. She believed in building things, relationships, dreams, routines. She never understood people who could destroy what they had with reckless ease, which is why the past 21 hours felt like a slow earthquake under her ribs. She wasn't supposed to be home yesterday afternoon. A canceled meeting had brought her home early, cheerful and humming, ready to surprise her husband Ethan with coffee and pastries. Ethan, charismatic, stylish, ambitious Ethan, who worked as a real estate consultant and always told her he adored her steadiness. She thought their marriage, 7 years strong, was imperfect but fundamentally solid. She never expected to hear the laughter first. A woman's laugh, light, confident, inside her home. Ava had dropped the coffee cup, porcelain shattering at her feet before she even realized she'd let go. She walked inside like a ghost. Ethan's voice filtered through the hallway low, flirtatious, familiar in a painful way. Then she saw them, sitting on the couch, too close, the woman's hand on Ethan's chest. Ethan's face tilted toward her with the kind of smile Ava hadn't seen directed at herself in years. Everything inside Ava collapsed without making a sound. They hadn't seen her, not yet. Ethan's back was to her. The woman had her head thrown back laughing, glossy dark hair tumbling over her shoulders. Ava didn't scream. She didn't run. She didn't cry. She simply stepped back, walked out silently, and drove away. That night she stayed at a hotel. She didn't call Ethan. She didn't answer his frantic texts when he finally realized she was gone. She sat there in the dim light of a beige room, her wedding ring on the table, trying to understand the new version of her life, one she didn't choose, but now had to live. And now, at sunrise, she was still in the hotel, still staring at a future shifted sideways. By 8 a.m., she forced herself to get dressed and drive back home. She needed answers. She deserved them. When she walked inside, Ethan was waiting in the living room, eyes puffy, restless. He jumped to his feet the second the door closed. Ava got, "Thank you. Please, let me explain." She held up a hand. "You don't get to start." "I do." The silence afterward felt like static. "Who is she?" Ava asked. Ethan swallowed hard. "Her name is Marissa." "How long?" "A few months, a few months." The phrase punched the air out of her lungs. Ava nodded slowly, pressing her nails into her palm to keep from shaking. "So, all that time, you were coming home late because of work?" "Ava, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It didn't mean anything. I swear to you, you're the one I don't say love," she warned quietly. "Don't make this uglier than it already is," he deflated. "I messed up. I was stupid. I was stressed and insecure, and cheating is not a reaction." She cut him off. "It's a choice." She wasn't yelling. She didn't need to. Her voice was stronger than it had felt in years. Ethan rubbed his face, pacing. "I ended it last night. Before you came home." A bitter laugh escaped before she could stop it. "How heroic of you, Ava. Please. I want to fix this. I want to fight for us." She looked at him closely, really looked. The man she once adored. The man she trusted with her whole heart. And all she saw now was someone who shattered something sacred without thinking. Twice. Ethan, she said quietly. I don't know if there's anything left to fix. And with that, she walked past him, straight upstairs, and shut the bedroom door. For the next few days, Ava barely spoke to him. She went to work, came home, slept in the guest room. Ethan tried flowers, meals, apologies, but it all felt flimsy. The foundation of their marriage was cracked, shaking. Her best friend Lily was the first person she told. They met at a coffee shop in Lincoln Park, one Ava used to visit with Ethan on lazy Saturdays. The irony didn't go unnoticed. Lily listened, jaw clenched. Ava, that's unforgivable. I know. Ava wrapped her hands around the warm mug. But part of me keeps wondering if I missed something. If I somehow... No, Lily leaned forward. You didn't make him cheat. People don't trip and fall into someone else's arms. Ava smiled weakly. I keep thinking about who I was before all this. I feel like a different person. Maybe that's not a bad thing, Lily said. Maybe this version of you is the one who finally puts herself first. Ava looked out the window at the city, cars rushing, people walking dogs, cyclists weaving through traffic, everyone living their own story. Hers was suddenly a broken chapter. She didn't know how to continue, but Lily's words echoed in her chest. Put yourself first. She hadn't done that in years. 2 weeks after the discovery, she packed a suitcase. When Ethan came home to find her zipping it closed, he froze. Where are you going? Away, she said. I need space. We can go to therapy. I need space, she repeated firmly. Alone. Ethan's shoulders slumped. Are you leaving me? I don't know, she admitted. But I can't decide my entire future in the same house where you broke my trust. He stepped closer cautiously. Ava, I'm scared. Then she walked out. Ava drove 12 hours straight to Savannah, Georgia, where her older sister Harper lived with her husband and 2 little boys. Savannah had always been Ava's reset, but warm air, oak trees draped in Spanish moss, cobblestone streets that felt older than her worries. Harper welcomed her with open arms and didn't push for details. She made sweet tea, set out fresh towels, and took the guest room across from the nursery. Late that night, after everyone was asleep, Ava stepped outside onto the porch. The humid air clung to her skin as crickets chirped, and a soft breeze carried the scent of magnolia. And finally, she cried, not the single tear she shed in the car on day 1, not the quiet sob she swallowed at work, but a full-body release of grief, anger, humiliation, and heartbreak, all spilling out in heavy, shaking waves. When she finished, she felt empty, exhausted, but lighter. She whispered to the quiet night, I don't know who I'm supposed to be now. But the night offered no answers. The next morning, Harper found her in the kitchen making pancakes. You okay? Harper asked gently. No, Ava admitted. But maybe I will be. Harper nodded. Good. Because you're staying here until you figure out what you want. No deadlines. Thank you. Always. Days passed slowly. Ava helped Harper with the kids, walked around Forsyth Park, journaled every night. She jogged in the mornings and sat by the riverfront in the afternoons, watching boats drift lazily down the water. And for the first time in years, she let herself breathe. One afternoon, she ducked into a small art gallery to escape the heat. That's where she met Nathan. He was standing in front of a large canvas, swirls of blue, gray, and gold when he turned slightly. Noticing her, it looks like a storm, she murmured, not realizing she'd spoken aloud. Nathan smiled. Or a storm clearing. He was tall, early 40s, with kind eyes and a calm presence. He didn't look at her the way some men did, curious, assessing. His gaze was warm but respectful. They talked about art, sunsets, travel, nothing personal, nothing heavy, but it felt grounding. When she left, he said, "Enjoy your afternoon, Ava." She paused. "I didn't tell you my name." He smiled softly. "You dropped your ID when you walked in." She laughed, an actual laugh. "Oh, relax," he said. "I'm not a stalker." "Good to know. Maybe I'll see you around, maybe," she said, and she meant it. In the following weeks, she did see him at the farmer's market, at a street fair, at the gallery again. Each time he greeted her with the same gentle warmth. Each time she felt a small shift inside her, a reminder that not every man carried darkness in his pockets. They started getting coffee together, walking the riverfront, talking about life. He was a widower. His wife had passed 3 years earlier. He wasn't searching for anything, just existing, healing, living quietly. Ava found comfort in that. But she never told him about Ethan. Until one day, sitting on a bench beneath a massive oak tree, she finally said, "My husband cheated on me." Nathan didn't flinch, didn't pity her, didn't offer cliches. He simply said, "That must have hurt in ways most people don't talk about." Ava swallowed. "Yeah, it did. And you're still standing." "I'm trying to." He nodded. "That counts." It was the most comforting thing anyone had said to her since the universe shifted. Back in Chicago, Ethan kept texting her, calling her, begging her to come home, promising he was a changed man. Ava didn't respond because she wasn't the same woman anymore. She wasn't the Ava who waited for Ethan to choose her. She wasn't the Ava who prioritized everyone else's comfort. She wasn't the Ava who believed survival meant staying. She was learning what strength looked like, what peace sounded like, what freedom felt like, and she wasn't willing to lose that. For months after she first arrived in Savannah, Ava returned to Chicago not to go back, but to close the chapter properly. Ethan opened the door before she even reached it. "Ava," he breathed, eyes filling with hope. "Thank God, you're home." "No," she said softly. "I'm here to talk." That's all. They sat in the living room, ironically, the same couch where everything broke. "Ava," Ethan began, voice trembling, "I'm in therapy. I've stopped drinking. I've been working on myself every day. Just give me one more." "No," she said firmly but kindly. "I'm proud you're working on yourself, truly, but that doesn't change what happened, and it doesn't erase the way it changed me." He stared at her, pain sharp in his eyes. "You don't love me anymore. I'll always care about you," she said. "But I don't trust you. And without trust, love becomes survival, not happiness." He looked down, defeated. "So, this is goodbye." "Yes," she whispered. And for the first time since the betrayal, she felt something that surprised her: relief. A soft, steady, liberating relief. Ava sold the house, took her portion, packed her life into boxes, and moved back to Savannah, not because of Nathan, not because she was running away, but because she wanted a life built on her own terms. She rented a small cottage near the river, white shutters, blue door, hydrangeas out front. It felt like a fresh page waiting for ink, and she filled it slowly. New furniture, new routines, new joy. Nathan became a part of her life, gently, naturally, without pressure. One evening, months later, they sat on her porch watching fireflies dance in the warm Georgia dusk. Nathan turned to her. "You seem lighter." Ava smiled, leaning her head back against the chair. "I finally feel like myself. Or maybe a better version." "You deserve that." She glanced at him. "Do you ever think about the past?" "Sometimes," he said. "But I don't live there anymore." She nodded. "Me neither." He took her hand, not claiming it, just holding it, and for Ava, that small gesture meant more than any promise. Because she finally understood something important. Healing didn't mean forgetting. It didn't mean pretending the pain never happened. It meant choosing yourself, choosing peace, choosing a future untouched by the mistakes of others. Ava had walked through betrayal, heartbreak, and uncertainty only to find strength, rediscovery, and a new beginning. Not because of a man, not because of revenge, but because she chose herself. And that was the greatest victory of all.